Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport, then get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by Energy Sage. Visit the link in the description to find local, verified solar experts, community projects, and heat pump specialists in your area. And by Atmos Financial. Bank better with a financial technology company that's powered by a portfolio of clean energy investments. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me for what will be the last normal roundup show of 2024. Happy holidays! We start today's show with breaking news from this week that caught the EV world off guard, an impending potential merger between Honda and Nissan. First reported at the start of the week and fleshed out towards the end, while early reports suggested that Nissan and Honda were looking to become one entity moving forwards, what now looks more likely is that Honda and Nissan will work together on a new jointly owned EV brand. Details are particularly sparse at this point, and this is still an evolving story, but as of the time of writing and filming this show, it's expected that the two firms will expand their existing EV partnerships in the near future to establish a new brand, and based on what we know, it's also likely that Mitsubishi will join its two rival firms for the ride. Also, given that Honda has an established relationship with both GM and Sony, this partnership could seriously open doors. Stellantis has confirmed that it won't be bringing its first all-electric pickup truck to market this year or next. Instead, the automaker plans on bringing forward its launch of that truck's range-extended sibling, the Ram 1500 Ramcharger, blaming what it says is overwhelming consumer interest in its range-extended offering and what it claims is a slowing demand for half-ton battery-electric pickups. It's opting to focus its attention on the Ramcharger. With a 92 kilowatt-hour battery pack, that particular variant promises around 145 miles of electric range, with range-extended capabilities for longer-distance trips. But given the specs of the onboard generator, 130 kilowatts, I'm going to admit to being a little worried about how it will behave when the battery pack is flat. The all-electric Ram 1500 BEV, meanwhile, well, we might see it in 2026, if we're lucky. The US Supreme Court has declined to hear a court case submitted to it by Ohio and 16 other Republican-led states trying to stop California from implementing its own clean air rules. The case centers around the claim that California doesn't have jurisdiction over its own air quality, something the DC Court of Appeals ruled in April was not true. Trying to overturn the ruling, the Republican-led plaintiffs wanted SCOTUS to strike the ruling down, but it's refused to hear the case. With SCOTUS rejecting the case, California's Air Resource Board has received approval from the US EPA to enforce the latest new clean air EV mandates it's come up with, one that will set it on a path to ban the sale of most new gasoline-powered vehicles in California by 2035. Incoming US President Donald Trump said he's going to reverse the EPA's decision, but given that his run on the states' rights to set their own rules, he would risk contradicting himself in order to do so. Electrek reported this week that new Tesla AI4 or Hardware 4 boards inside some of the newest Teslas off the production line are failing, leaving customers without many passive and active safety features in their vehicles. According to unofficial reports from inside sources, the problem seems to stem from a potential short circuit within the system during computer camera calibration, but many Tesla drivers are said to be reporting sudden failures with their nearly new vehicles. Given that Hardware 4 is fully integrated into how Teslas operate, a whole bunch of features within affected cars are failing to properly work, from cameras through to range estimates, navigation and GPS. It's not clear if Tesla has already submitted a report to NHTSA as per federal law, but it's likely that the only long-term fix will be a physical hardware swap. although we understand an interim software update could help ease problems temporarily. With no press department, Tesla has not issued a public statement at this time. Sticking with Tesla, it appears that the company is looking to rebrand some of its unsold Foundation Series model Cybertrucks, selling them to customers in Canada as regular models. While Cybertruck has been the best-selling electric pickup of 2024 in the US, and there are many happy owners out there, the launch price of the Cybertruck, substantially higher than originally promised, has caused some reservation holders to cancel their orders, and that's left some unclaimed Foundation Series Cybertrucks in Tesla inventory. In order to sell those vehicles on, it's now asking its service centres to remove Foundation Series badging on unsold models to enable them to be sold on as more affordable versions, with some expected to be modified at Tesla facilities in order to make them legally sellable in Canada. Again, Tesla hasn't officially responded to these reports because it doesn't have a press department, although I should note this week it does appear to be looking for a head of PR, so hopefully that will change in the near future. If you're a certain age, you'll remember the truly amazing Renault 5 Turbo, a street-going hot hatch inspired by the mid-engined, totally bonkers Renault 5 rally car from the 1980s. The competition variant was a favourite in the WRC's Group B series and helped sell both street-legal Renault 5 Turbos and regular Renault 5s, and this week we learn the nameplate is coming back in the age of EVs. Enter the Renault 5 Turbo 3E, a limited edition all-wheel drive super hot hatch with a sub 3.5 second sprint time. Showcasing it on camera to us and company CEO Luca De Meo this week, the car takes the already in production Renault 5 and gives it the classic rally treatment of its ancestor, complete with big wings, bigger flares, and a promise of around 370 kilowatts at the wheels. This might not sound like much in a world where luxury EVs are regularly hitting that kind of figure, but remember, this is a compact hatchback, not a heavy armchair on wheels. But before you get excited, 3 things. It'll only be available in Europe, it will have a 6-figure price tag, and only 2,000 will be made. That doesn't stop me from wanting to have a go. On last week's show, I shared news from Stanford University, where researchers had concluded that laboratory EV battery lifespan calculations were a little overly conservative. This week, that assertion is backed up by some real-world data from German test organisation DEKRA. It's concluded from more than 25,000 state of health tests of in-use EVs that even in high-mileage vehicles, like a fleet of Jaguar I-Pace electric taxis that have been in use in Munich since 2018, we're seeing great state of health readings of between 95 and 97%, even in the case of those taxis, after more than 250,000 kilometres or 155,000 miles of use. While EV batteries in general are surviving far better than feared originally, DEKRA does warn that there will always be a few outliers. But it notes that the overwhelming majority of vehicles it's tested are aging far more slowly than previous engineering predictions estimated. When the original Fiat 500e was available in key compliance car markets around the US about a decade ago, the company pushed some truly impressive lease deals for customers to enjoy. The logic there was pretty simple. It was more affordable for Fiat to offer impossibly affordable lease deals at a loss than it was for the automaker to pay massive fines for not selling enough EVs. And 12 years later, those seemingly too good to be true deals are back, but for a slightly different reason. At least they are for EV fans in Colorado. Thanks to Colorado's $7,500 EV tax credit program, combined with the current US federal tax credit for EVs, dealers in the state are able to knock $15,000 off list pricing for leasing, which, when you take into account the expected residual value of the car after 3 years and 30,000 miles, means that customers can have a zero down, zero per month, 3-year, 30,000-mile lease. You do have to pay about $2,000 in lease fees over the course of your lease term, or about $64 per month, but it's still a cracking deal. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has been very actively involved in politics of late and played a massive role in helping Donald Trump get re-elected to the White House. And now he's looking to cash in on that investment, with the Trump transition team recommending this week that the incoming administration repeal NHTSA safety requirements that currently force automakers and robotaxi firms to report all crash data pertaining to collisions involving semi- or fully autonomous vehicles, something that Elon Musk has claimed unfairly targets Tesla. As Reuters notes, 40 out of 45 fatal crashes reported to NHTSA involving some kind of autonomous driving through October 15th involved Teslas, hence Elon Musk's claims of unfair scrutiny. The transition team wants to, quote, unquote, liberalise autonomous vehicle regulation and make it easier for car companies to build and sell autonomous vehicle technology without needing to meet current safety standards. And after that, let's finish the segment with some really good news from the US state of Montana. If you're not from the US, you might not know much about the state, but I should let you know that Montana's not exactly known for being progressive. And when the Montana Environmental Policy Act was signed a few years ago, explicitly banning consideration of environmental factors in the permitting process for oil and gas drilling, a bunch of teens from the state decided to take action. They took the state to court, arguing that the rules were against the state constitution, which explicitly states that all Montanans have a right to a clean and healthful environment, end quote. Their claim was upheld in district court in 2023, but the state appealed the decision to the state's Supreme Court, which this week upheld the 6-1 decision. I'm sure that this will ultimately head to the US Supreme Court, but honestly, it is so wonderful to see legislators who don't care about anything but their own interests to be metaphorically hoisted by their own petard because of their state constitution. Bring it on. Our short shorts are coming next, but first a word from today's video sponsor, Energy Sage. Energy Sage helps homeowners connect with local verified solar installers across the US and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help you navigate the process of installing solar panels, help you join a community solar program, or in fact get a heat pump installed. I used Energy Sage when we were looking for installers willing to help us put solar panels on the roof of our home, and our Energy Sage verified installers were professional, knowledgeable, and even put us in touch with a truly amazing credit union that allowed us to finance our solar panels for as low a monthly payment as possible. Follow the links below to sign up for either of Energy Sage's free, no-obligation services and get that ball rolling today. And with uncertainty surrounding the future of clean energy credits in the US, there's no better time to sign up. If you also use an Energy Sage installer for your project, we will get a small referral fee, so you'll be helping the channel out too. Help the grid get greener, save money, and support us. It's a win-win-win. And now it's time for Short Shorts. General Motors is recalling the 2025 Chevrolet Equinox EV in the US due to incorrect noise-making software on affected cars. Dealerships will be reprogramming the body control module of affected vehicles for free to ensure compliance with federal safety law. Nikola Motor has submitted a mandatory notification to the US Securities and Exchange Commission over its future. It says it doesn't have the funds to survive another quarter and has announced substantial layoffs at its production facility to try and stem its cash flow worries. Researchers at the Oak Ridge National Laboratory in the US have figured out how to turn one of the most abundant fossil fuels into material for making EV batteries. The new process turns coal into graphite, which in turn can then be used in EV battery pack manufacturing. Archer Aviation has signed a new strategic partnership with Anduril to develop a new military aircraft based on its VTOL technology. Unlike its current vehicle, the Midnight eVTOL craft, the new vehicle will be a hybrid-engined craft. The partnership has helped it raise an additional $430 million in working capital. Factorial Energy, which is working alongside Mercedes-Benz to bring its solid-state batteries to production vehicles, has unveiled its latest A-sample cell, a 40 amp-hour solid-state battery that's already off to be tested with its automotive partners. EVgo has successfully secured a new line of credit from the US Department of Energy worth $1.25 billion. The new guaranteed loan, which can't easily be removed, will help EVgo expand its network by more than 7,500 fast charging stations. Volkswagen has confirmed that it's going to allow all of the contracts of temporary workers at its Vicar EV production facility to end. While it plans on keeping a reduced salaried workforce at the facility, contracted staff will not see their contracts renewed. Hyundai, working alongside Chinese automaker BAIC, has announced a new $1.1 billion investment into a brand new jointly owned company called Beijing Hyundai. As part of the deal, the two firms are expected to build new EVs for the Chinese market. Chinese firm Xiaomi has hit the headlines plenty of times this year thanks to its incredibly quick rise to popularity in the EV market in China. Now the company says it's readying itself to sell EVs outside of its home market, with a plan to sell cars in Europe before 2030. AMG, Mercedes-Benz high-performance arm, has begun winter testing of prototypes of a new SUV and four-door coupe built on a brand-new performance EV platform called AME.EA. The company has begun winter testing in Sweden, and I'm sure we'll learn more soon. Archer Aviation has just celebrated the completion of its first high-volume manufacturing facility in Georgia. While the facility is to be outfitted, the firm says it's in final talks with Stellantis, its preferred contract manufacturer, for mass production of its midnight eVTOL craft. Hyundai Mobis has unveiled a new battery cell cooling material for EV battery packs that it says will help prevent overheating during ultra-fast charging sessions. The material, which it's calling the pulsating heat pipe, is said to dramatically reduce EV charging time when managing the thermal properties of the pack at the same time. Despite working hard on new production electric models in both its mainstream and M-Badge series, BMW has apparently shelved plans to build a brand new hypercar that would have inherited the legendary M1 moniker. The board of directors nixed the plan. Just a few days after its board member and former Deputy General Counsel of Tesla, James Chen, resigned his position at Canoo, the company has announced a massive staff furlough measure idling its factory. The company's future now looks very uncertain indeed. BMW might have shelved its M1 plans, but this week its M division released part 2 of its ongoing teaser series for an upcoming high-performance model and disclosed that a long time ago it built an all-electric M2 prototype that, according to engineers, was called the Beast. It was apparently epic. New data from Auto Pacific suggests that a significant number of people looking to buy three-row SUVs would be willing to consider an EV variant. 1/2 of the people it surveyed said they were open to the idea, and a full 8% said they were set on going electric. Changes made to the Rivian R1S for the 2025 model year have helped the brand win the coveted Top Safety Pick Plus award from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. It is now officially the safest large SUV in the IIHS database for this year. A former Tesla employee has been sentenced to 2 years in prison for his part in an international industrial espionage plot to steal trade secrets from Tesla. His co-conspirator remains at large, but after pleading guilty, he received 2 years' sentence. California's recently announced e-bike incentive program opened its doors on Wednesday this week and very quickly ran out of the 1,500 e-bike purchase vouchers it had set aside. The vouchers are good for a $2,000 discount off an e-bike. Honda has announced its intent to utilize an existing powertrain facility in Moka City, Japan, to build its next generation of hydrogen fuel cells. Having worked on FCEV technology for decades, Honda has high hopes to establish itself as a fuel cell leader in the truck market in Japan. Financially troubled eVTOL company Lilium has had a bit of a rough year, finding itself in trouble with regulators in the US and unable to meet some of its financial obligations. But according to reports this week, it already has multiple potential buyers interested in a buyout. The incoming Trump transition team in the US has confirmed it plans on not only scrapping EV tax credits and aid for charging infrastructure and EV manufacturing, but also banning the import of any components or battery materials from China under national security concerns. Toyota is lining up some pretty big discounts for the incoming 2025 Toyota BZ4X in select markets in the US. It's going to offer up to $10,000 in lease discounts, but sadly, the program is only going to be available in certain major cities. Talking candidly with Bloomberg this week, Lucid CEO Peter Rawlinson claims the company is in advanced talks with several automakers over the licensing of its EV tech. It currently makes some of the most efficient EVs on sale today, so its tech is in demand. Hyundai has just confirmed that it's commissioned a fleet of Exeon hydrogen fuel cell trucks for use in and around its Metaplat production facility in Georgia. A total of 21 hydrogen fuel cell trucks will be used to move parts and vehicles around the factory and the region. California has confirmed a new building code that will require EV charging provision to be placed in most new overnight parking spots from 2026. It already requires some residential buildings to be EV ready, but this is the next logical step. GM, working alongside ChargePoint, has announced a new partnership to install up to 500 EV fast charging stations in the US, all fitted with ChargePoint's new Omniport charging system. The Omniport allows CCS and NACS vehicles to use the same hardware. Chinese battery specialist CATL is readying itself to build up to 1,000 new battery swap stations in its home market of China next year to ease range anxiety among early adopters and expand EV adoption nationwide. It promises a 100-second battery swap time. Honda has confirmed that it will be revealing 2 Zero Series EV prototypes at next month's CES 2025 in Las Vegas, with a plan to bring those vehicles to market as production cars sometime in 2026. We'll know more in the next few weeks. New data this week shows that European EV sales are up 1.3% for all brands that aren't Tesla, but because of Tesla's massive market share and a massive 13.7% drop in sales this year, it's caused total EV sales in Europe to drop 1.4%. As a way of ensuring it can remain competitive and innovative in the battery marketplace, CATL has told its suppliers and battery partners that it's more than happy to offer financial support as required to accelerate technical innovation that allows it to build better and better EV battery packs. Chinese automaker NIO is hoping to end 2024 with delivery figures of around 220,000 vehicles, with plans announced this week to double that next year and reach profitability by 2026. It's still fighting off tough competition. The Swiss Federal Council has passed a new ordinance concerning semi-autonomous and autonomous vehicle driving. Due to come into force at the start of March next year, it will allow for semi-autonomous features to be used on high-speed roads of up to level 3 of SAE operation. Jaguar Land Rover has allegedly fired an engineer after he posted concerns on Reddit that Vietnamese company Vinfast was putting lives at risk in its electric vehicles. Neither Jaguar Land Rover nor its parent company Tata have responded to media requests for more information. Tesla has begun to push a wide release of its V13 self-driving software to hardware-equipped cars. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has stated publicly that he thinks people's minds will be blown by the competitiveness and capabilities. Expect reports from customers very soon. As new emission rules for cars come into force next year, automakers in Europe are encouraging buyers to go electric by reducing prices of their EVs and increasing the price of internal combustion engine models, because they will be fined if their fleet emissions are too high. While Volvo's EX30 won't benefit from US federal tax incentives for EVs when it launches there next year, unless you lease that is, the company is readying some pretty big discounts to remain competitive in the marketplace, with up to $9,000 in discounts. Mercedes-Benz has been teasing more information about its highly anticipated CLA EV this week, stating that it will offer up to 800 miles of driving range from just 2 10-minute fast charging stops. This is all going to be made possible by its 800-volt battery and super efficient design. Volkswagen, along with its battery subsidiary PowerCo, has announced a new strategic partnership with Canadian Lithium company Patriot Battery Metals. The partnership includes a $48 million investment in return for 9% equity. Solaris has celebrated delivering its Solaris Urbino 18 electric bendy bus to a transit operator in Berlin. Complete with its own digital battery passport, the bus is the very first of its kind in the world and 3 years ahead of new EU digital battery passport requirements. The US Department of Energy has approved a loan of up to $9.63 billion to BlueOval SK for up to 3 battery facilities in Tennessee and Kentucky. BlueOval SK is a joint battery production venture owned by SK On and Ford. And finally, for the shorts, Tesla is accusing the local union at its Tesla Gigafactory in Berlin of trying to carry out a coup against the head of its workers' council. Tesla says IG Metall is trying to scupper its production, and IG Metall says Tesla is trying to union bust. And those are your shorts. There will be more next week. Our final 2 stories are next, but first, a quick word from friend of the channel, Atmos Financial. Imagine a bank where your savings not only grow, but also go towards growing a greener world. That is exactly what Atmos Financial does for you. With Atmos, every dollar in your checking and savings account is funding projects that light up lives with solar energy rather than fossil fuels. Atmos is banking that builds a better tomorrow with every swipe of your card today because it's committed to investing 100% into clean, equitable and sustainable progress. With a competitive savings rate and a mobile app, your finances and the climate can go hand in hand. It charges no monthly fees, there are no minimums keeping you awake at night, and it offers accessible solar loans for those who want to give the fossil fuel industry the ultimate middle finger. By joining Atmos using the link below, you're not only choosing a smarter way to bank, you're planting seeds for a healthier earth. And every sign up supports this channel, so it means we can keep bringing you the content you enjoy. I'm personally a customer, and I love knowing that I'm helping save money while making sure it doesn't end up funding the fossil fuel industry. And as always, thanks to Atmos and all of our other sponsors for sponsoring this show this year. And now it's time for those last 2 stories. I don't know about you, but this year's been quite the roller coaster in terms of the EV industry, so I wanted to finish today's show with 2 stories that I hope will make you smile for different reasons. And the first is the absolutely amazing news that while some markets may have seen a drop in EV sales for a whole slew of reasons this year, global EV sales for November set a new record, with 1.8 million electric vehicles sold around the planet. This is up 100,000 vehicles on October's figure, which was the previous record, and results in a year-to-date improvement around the world of 25% year over year. So far this year, not including December, 15.2 million new EVs have hit the roads, showing that while some politicians and fossil fuel executives might want EV sales to end, they are now literally too big to fail. And finally, there's a bit of a long-standing joke in the US about how to drive around a traffic circle, known better in many countries as a roundabout. As a British Canadian American, I know how to drive around roundabouts, and I very often gripe when I get behind someone who clearly isn't au fait with the best way to use them. This week, a video surfaced online that sadly I don't have the rights to share with you, but which showed that it's not Americans unaccustomed to roundabouts who are the only people who get stuck on them. Sometimes self-driving cars can too. Earlier this week, a Waymo Robotaxi was filmed going round and round a roundabout in California, apparently confused about where it was going and how to get off the roundabout. Now, to be fair, the video doesn't have any particularly long single takes, and it could be doctored. But it is a reminder that sometimes technology trained on us humans will inherit our less desirable traits. And on that note, we are done with today's show, which is the last 10 roundup show of 2024. As always, a massive thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. They have been advocating for EVs since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EVA can help you find someone near to you that can help you make that switch to electric. It can help you find local communities and become an EV educator, and it can put you in touch with other like-minded EV fans through local meetups. And if you become a member, you'll gain access to a clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EVA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. So find out more by heading to myeva.org. And thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to find out how easy it can be to get verified, trustworthy solar experts, helping you make that step towards energy self-sufficiency using solar on the roof of your home, by joining a community solar project, or by getting a heat pump installed. And thanks to Atmos Financial. Bank better by following the link below. And if you are someone who made your own transportation or energy greener this year, well done. If you'd like to support the channel directly, please consider supporting us for $1 a month on Patreon, which is about $10.08 a year, or by visiting our swag store. We are viewer supported because we believe the information we produce should be free to everyone to consume. So if you support us, thank you. I'm really not exaggerating when I say that you have made this all possible. You really do. Well, we're not going to be back next week with a news roundup show. I do have some content planned into the new year, so keep your eyes peeled as it drops over the next few weeks. And to finish, remember that you are valid, you are loved, and you have a place in this world. This time of year can be tough for lots of people for lots of different reasons. So know that your existence is resistance, and it makes it harder for hate and hate to exist. Be inspirational. Be yourself. Be bold and do good. Don't let hatred win. So until next time, stay safe, regardless of your identity or who you love. Be an amazing ally. Be amazingly kind. Be the positive change you want to see in the world. And please, for the sake of everyone's future, don't let hate or ignorance win. Happy holidays, happy Christmas, and as always, keep evolving.